This is the new Peugeot 408 and it's a little bit like J. Cartwright.
It's crawling with clunge.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, it's an in-betweener. You see, it's not like a normal hatchback nor a normal SUV. It's somewhere in between. And in this video, I'm going to talk you around the exterior design. I'm going to show you the inside, try its technology, see how practical it is, and take it for a drive. Plus, of course, I'm going to launch it to see how quick this car is from 0 to 60 miles an hour, because I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. Buy, sell,
Carwow.
Let's start this video by talking about the design of the 408. So it's quite interesting. Various elements, when you stand close to it, look really cool. Such as, look at the design of the back with this little integrated boot lip spoiler, then these spoilers up here as well. You've got 3D lights which flash at you when you open the car. Look at this, flash, yay. I'm not so sure about this bit. Look, this big extended black bumper sort of reminds me of Darth Vader's mouth. Moving down the side, this car comes with 17-inch alloys as standard, which are going to be too small. These are 19s. I think they're about the right size. So you can get up to 20 inches. Then you've got this sloping roof line, lots of creases. Once again, when you're up close to various areas of the car, it looks really cool. This is funny. They put a Peugeot shield there, a bit like the shields that you have to pay extra for on Ferraris. Get them standard with the Peugeot. The Peugeot's not quite as cool a brand as Ferrari. Oh no, I've accidentally locked it. Let's move on. Anyhow, here at the front, once again, up close to it, it's really interesting. You've got this really cool design grille with body coloured elements in it. You've got that classic Peugeot fangs there. It looks really nice from the front, and the shape of the headlights like that as well. Right, I'm going to open it again just so you can see it with its door mirrors out. Stay open! Thing is, when you look at it from a distance, the whole design isn't quite so cohesive. Like, just bits of it work in isolation, but as a whole, I'm not quite so convinced. Gotta say though, this red paint is blooming lovely. It looks quite expensive in this particular trim, and it's not the cheapest car, to be fair. So prices start from £31,000, like there you can see it on Carwow. And the average saving on the 408 through Carwow is around £2,000. This particular car here, the plug-in hybrid GT, is £46,000. Now, if you want to check out all the latest offers on new cars, click on the pop-out banner up there, or follow the link in the description below to go to Car... Why does it keep locking itself? Anyway, go to Carwow. If you want to do that at a later date, just simply Google "Help Me Carwow" and we'll help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. Plus, you can also sell your current car through Carwow. It's dead simple. You just upload some photos, give a brief description, then our dealers from all across the country will bid on your car. Just accept the highest offer. They'll come to your house, take the car away, put the money in your account. Don't know why I'm doing all of this. Anyway, will you stay open, you bugger? Just open. Stay open. Open. I love the inside of Peugeots, and this is their best yet. The dash design is so very cool with these different layers. Also, the materials, they feel expensive. They really do. That's nice. It's only when you go lower down here that things are a bit scratchy. I think that the interior quality in Peugeot is better than on Volkswagens. I even think they're better than an equivalently priced Audi. Very, very nice. Now, the GT models get this lovely little bit of stitching here. They also get the Alcantara effect on the seats, and the seats are super comfortable as well. One of the coolest features about this car is the infotainment system. One of the great things about it is that it's very, very customizable. So if you go into the menus, you can then change lots of different things, such as various things that you show on this screen and on the digital driver's display. Look, you can just customize so much of it. Not just that, you've got these little shortcut panels here, which you can once again customize yourself. So if I just go back to home, if I don't want media there and I want something else on there, I can press and hold that, and then I can choose another shortcut button. So I want to open up the energy flow diagram, so I'm going to use that one there, so that when I'm driving I can just quickly hit that and it will show me that information immediately. There is one bit of information I wish it would show me immediately and I wouldn't have to mess with, and it's the climate control. So you have to hit this button first to bring it up, and then you alter things like the fan speed and the temperature through there. Though once again, what you can do is set a temperature that you prefer on here and hold it on there like that. Look, then it's there on the tiles. Great idea, that. Now, you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both are wireless, and really that's what I use. I don't use the inbuilt sat-nav, but you can if you want to. Moving on to the digital driver's display. Now, they're just really clever with this. You've got a digital display normally just behind this plastic screen, but up there's another digital display, and what that does is reflect off the screen. It gives you this 3D effect. If you don't like that, you can actually turn it off in the menu and just have things just flat 2D on the main screen for the digital driver's display, and you can flick through and change the views if you want to as well, which is nice. There is one thing you have to really think about though if you're thinking about buying a Peugeot, and that's the seating position, because they do this thing with this small wheel and you look at the dials above the wheel. There is plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel itself, but you need to actually sit in one of these cars to make sure it works for you, because you may find out that the rim blocks the dials depending on how you like to sit in a car. This layout, I think personally for me, is great. I love it, and I love this sporty steering wheel which you get in this GT model. Other things I like, the practicality. So look at this, right? I like the way you have a armrest which splits to reveal a cubby in there with a USB. That means that you can have your armrest down and someone can still get in there to get something out. Then you've got another storage area there which you could, I suppose, put your phone in there, but you wouldn't need to because you can actually use that wireless charging pad up there, or keep your phone away and out of sight in there and then charge it with that USB. Though if you see here, my phone's a bit too long, so the USB is going to be like getting knocked probably, and you'll may damage the connection. I've done that before. You got some cup holders in here and they're big enough for a big flask. Look, this is a litre. Will that go in the door bin? Oh yes, it will. The door bins are big. Also, the door bins here in the front are lined with felt, so if you chuck your keys in there like that, it won't rattle about. Some other features that I like are this. Look, that's nicely damped. The lighting is sort of cool in here. Yeah, diffuse, lovely lighting, touch sensitive as well. All feels very premium, and that even extends to the rear view mirror. Look at that, it's frameless. Yeah, looking good, man. Anyway, let's check out the back seats. Rear passengers also get the same lovely seats as those in the front. Things are a little less lovely in places though. For instance, rather than soft touch materials on the door tops, scratchy plastic here in the back, and you don't get the felt lining in the pockets neither. It's annoying. What's less annoying is the fact that there's so much knee room and the footwells are nice and big. Plus you can stretch out because the front seats are quite raised up so you can fit your feet underneath them. It's comfy in the back here. One thing to note though is headroom. I mean, it's all right. Look, people over 6 foot will be fine, but really tall people might find the sloping roof a little bit of an issue. Another thing that's a bit of an issue is that, I don't know if you can tell, but it's quite dark in here. You can get a panoramic glass roof for about £900, and that's well worth having because it just makes it feel a lot hairier, brighter, lighter. I don't know why we say airy. There is something that's not ideal though. If you need to carry 3 people at once, you think it's going to be great because there's not much of a hump in the floor and the central seat is quite squidgy and comfortable. But when you have 2 people either side of you, because the body isn't the widest, they actually get pushed outwards, and this roof, the way it curves in, means that the 2 outer passengers end up like having their head like pressed up against the roof, which is not ideal. Actually, if you want a car that is better for carrying 3 people in the back at once, which is a bit similar, check out my review of the Volkswagen R10 shooting brake by clicking on the pop-out banner up there, from the link in the description below. Another thing that's not ideal is trying to fit a baby seat. You see, you've got these zips which cover up the Isofix anchor points. They're not hard to undo, but actually locating the fixing point within the seat is a bit tricky. It takes a while. However, once you've done that, the rest of fitting a baby seat is easy, and there's enough space back here for even bulky rear-facing seats. Some other things you need to know about. Look, you've got 2 USBs there, bit of storage down there, storage here. The door bins are big. They'll fit the large flask. Who's got the large flask? Large flask! Just bear with us. There we go, look how quick was that, not large flask. We have a person employed solely for holding the large flask, but as you can see, it fits, and come on, let's do it. Oh. Can you also do another job, please? Can you turn on the ignition so that we can put the windows down the back? Bear with us again. This is not normally in his job description, just holding the flask, so he's probably going to charge extra for this, but there we go. Thank you very much. Just put it on the invoice. Look, they almost go down the whole way. That's quite good. I'll take that. Oh, I've got to show you this as well. Look, you have through loading. Yeah, if you're off to the Alps, obviously it's a French car, they thought about that. And you've got 2 cup holders here and this little area there. I think the idea of this is to be able to put your iPad in or your phone so you can watch it, but I don't know who's going to watch the phone like that. You know, you're going to end up with a quick neck, like the 2 outer passengers if there's 3 in the back. See what I did there? Anyway, let's check out the boot. This GT model gets a hands-free tailgate, which actually works every time you want it to. Look, so easy.
Well, this is awkward.
You just frickin' let me down. You've worked every single time. Classic. It's a lot less temperamental than most of them. Boot capacity, it's 536 litres, which is just a little bit smaller than the sister car of this, which is the Citroen CX-5. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, I think it's called the C5X, is it? C5X. Anyway, if you want to see the full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below. So it's quite a nice square shape. There is one issue though. Bit of a load lift, but that big Darth Vader-y mouthy bit there means that you end up like banging your leg against the car when you're trying to get things in and out. And if you've been driving on a wet day, you're going to end up with like loads of dirt over your trousers. And it means that you actually have to lift whatever it is you're loading or unloading over this huge protruding bumper. Anyway, well, what else do you need to know? Well, there's some features in here. Features, ooh, check out the features. They are a little storage area there with this net. You've got some elasticated straps there just for you to go snap on. And then there's some tie down places there, some hooks. But I like this. You fold down the rear seats, by releasing them using these handles, which is handy. And they're like see what I mean? Anyhow, it's almost continuous to the floor, so it is easy enough to slide things to the front, though the seats don't lie completely flat, so things might slide back down again. One thing that you do need to know is that if you get the hybrid version, the boot capacity is reduced slightly by about 12% because you've got batteries underneath the boot floor. And that brings us to 5 annoying things about the Peugeot 408. A lot of manufacturers have separate guides for the rear seat belts, or a little place where you can just attach the buckle like that. And that means that when you fold on the seats, the belts don't snag. Peugeot, look, they could not be bothered. Look, we do not care if that happens to you, it is your own problem. The location of the front seat recliner is quite awkward. It's very tight to get your hand in there when you're sat in the seat, and it's made worse by the fact that the lumbar support sticks out here. So it's not the easiest thing to do, which means that you have to ask someone to give you a reach around from the back to do it for you, because then they can. There's this chunky 2-piece low cover. Oh! That really hurt. There's another piece here. Oh, I'm going to carry on like a professional, even though my eyes are watering. Yeah, and you can't put them underneath here, so there's no place to keep them in the car other than there when you're loading up fully, and then they're going to get crushed. And they're vicious. Normally, I beat up on load covers. I think they've finally had their revenge right now. This car doesn't have surround view cameras. It tries to create that effect with a bit of a computer fudge. You see, what it does is use the rear view camera, and then as you reverse, it fills in the gaps because it remembers what it's seen. While that may seem quite clever, it's actually pretty useless if you need the surround view effect to help you out of a gap that you've been parked in. Why is it that manufacturers build hatchback cars without a rear windscreen wiper? You're going to need one. Imagine it's been raining and you need to reverse. You want to clean the back window before you reverse. Also, what happens if a bird poos on your back window? You can't just use the rear window wiper to get rid of it. Instead, you're going to have to do this, aren't you? Look, I'm going to end up with avian flu. However, it's not all bad, because here at the front, Peugeot's got it right with the windscreen wipers. So you've got cleaning jets actually mounted on the wiper themselves, so that when you actually do some screen wash, what it means is that you don't get a jet of water which blinds you for a bit before the windscreen wipers clear it. Look, always decent visibility. The 408 seats are ARG certified, which means they've been approved by some German back organisation. Apparently they're good for your posture and spine and stuff. I say they are comfy. You can get this car with a night vision system, and it uses an infrared camera on the front, and then it will display things that you wouldn't be able to see quite clearly when you're just looking with your normal eyes here in the instrument binnacle, and it'll even highlight potential hazards. A lot of cars have a big blob on their grills like this, such as this Skoda Kodiaq and the BMW 3 Series. Behind these things are all the sensors and stuff for your auto, cruise and safety systems. However, Peugeot have come up with the perfect solution. Why not just have that blank in the grille as your badge, and then it just disguises it? Genius. The vanity mirror is particularly good. Look, it's wider than in most cars, so even if you get up close, you can see in it with both eyes. And you get 2 nice diffuse lights which really illuminate you so you can see your true beauty. Engine choices on the 408, pretty simple. So there's a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol with 130 horsepower, or 2 plug-in hybrids. They both use a 1.6 litre turbocharged petrol engine mated to an electric motor. One has 180 horsepower, and this one, which is the range topper, has 225 horsepower. Now, if you go for a plug-in hybrid, it has a 12 kilowatt hour battery pack and can do up to 40 miles on electric power alone. Regardless of which version of the 408 you go for, they all have an 8-speed automatic gearbox and a front-wheel drive. Question is though, which one should you go for? Well, I've spec'd up my ideal Peugeot 408 using the carwow configurator, and if you want to see what the exact engine and trim choice I've gone for and the saving through carwow, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Now let's see what this Peugeot 408 is like to drive. I'm going to start off in town. So first up, the suspension. A bit firmer than I'd imagined. Thought it'd be a bit more soft and squidgy. Now when you go over normal bumps like potholes, it's actually not bad. It deals with them quite well despite being firm. The issue is when you're going over like rougher surfaces, you really feel vibrations coming through through your bottom, even through the steering wheel a bit, and that's a touch annoying. It's almost like you're driving over rumble strips when you're not. Another thing that I'm not so sure about is the visibility. So to make it look sporty, it's got like limited glass area, and the view out the back is absolutely woeful. The view out the front's all right, although this area here, because of the mirror, it's quite big and hangs down quite low. You've got a small gap to look through. Now I'm just going to do a U-turn here. Turning circles, 11.2 meters. Having this small steering wheel and the fact the steering is really light helps to do maneuvers. Will I get around there? I'm going to have to use the camera. Where's the camera? Where's the camera? Engage camera. Show me camera. Let's go into reverse to engage camera. Oh, look, that thing's really just scupping me. I can't tell. See, that's why that doesn't work. It's blooming rubbish. So I'm not sure if I can make it round. I'm just going to have to risk it. See, it is manoeuvrable enough, but that feature, blooming annoying. There we go. People are getting cross with me there. The rest of the experience of driving in town is good though. So what I'm going to do is go into electric only mode. And now it's silent. And I'm going to go into B mode for more regen braking when I lift off the accelerator. But it doesn't slow it down completely. It just slowly creeps still, so you do eventually have to touch the brake. Speaking of which, they can feel just a little bit grabby. The initial press is fine, but then you press a bit more and then all of a sudden it's like, bang! Oh, that's giving me a headache actually. And finally, there's the indicator noise, which sort of reminds me of the Bossa Nova autoplay function you used to have on old Casio keyboards from the 1980s. Yeah, I'm showing my age now, aren't I? Talking about old Casio keyboards from the 1980s. Now let's see what this Peugeot is like at faster speed. So as you're approaching a motorway or dual carriageway, you suddenly need to accelerate from 40 miles an hour. I'm flooring it. Okay, there we go. So when you put your foot down, the electric motor provides a little bit of response. Then the gearbox busily changes down, and then the motor, which is quite small, has to wait for its turbocharger to spool up before you start really accelerating. And then when you do accelerate, you get a bit of a noise from the engine. It feels a little bit strained. Not terrible, but just a bit. Now, cruising at speed, there's one thing I'm really noticing with this. There's quite a lot of road noise. Wind noise, not noticing any, but road noise, a bit too much. Now, if you want a car like this, which is actually quieter, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below, because I found a car which fits that brief. In terms of the economy, well, all these plug-in hybrids are supposed to do like hundreds of miles to the gallon. It's just nonsense. The reality is a lot less. This one's doing 51 miles to the gallon, which actually is all right, but you're not exactly saving loads of money with it, are you? And you're paying extra for the plug-in hybrid tech. I think you're going to have to do quite a lot of miles in order to offset the initial extra outlay for a plug-in hybrid compared to just a normal petrol engine version. Finally then, let's try this 408 on a twisty road. Now, I'm not expecting too much here. Just needs to be safe and secure and competent. I've got it in sports mode, and that makes the engine just stay on all the time, so it never cuts out, and as a result it just responds a bit better. I can change gears myself using these paddles, but it seems a bit pointless because it'll ultimately change up and down for you even when you're supposed to be in manual mode. It's just a bit random. That is, look, it did it there. Thanks. I'm supposed to be in charge, car, and you've just gone and taken over again. It's like being micromanaged. I like this small steering wheel though when you're going through some bends, because it just makes it feel sporty, and this car is doing better than I thought it would. It's one of the benefits of that stiffer suspension. It just doesn't lean all that badly in the corners. It's doing a decent job down here, and it feels more responsive in sports mode. Overall though, I quite like the way this car drives. Yeah, it's got a few minor faults, it's not perfect, but it has a certain personality to it. I do enjoy driving it. I didn't think I would. This car's supposed to do 0 to 60 in 7.8 seconds. What's reality? Specialist timing gear will reveal all. Let's do it. Oh, struggling for traction there. It's a problem with front wheel drive. It's going now though. 8.4. Oh. I'm gonna give it one more go. Come on, hook up. Less wheel spin there. This might be better. It's not going to do better than that, not in these conditions. 8 seconds dead. 7.8, 8 seconds better. There's that blooming noise again. So then, what's my final verdict on the Peugeot 408. Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should. It's gone and locked itself again because I've walked away from it. It makes sense. Anyhow, I reckon you should shortlist it. It's not without its faults, but overall, it's really likeable and a very quirky, interesting car. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. That way you won't miss any of our reviews. Also, let me know what you think of my verdict on this car in the comments below. And if you want to watch some more videos, you can just click on those windows there. And if you click on that box there, you can go to Carwow to sell your car. And dealers all over the country will bid on your car. And you just pick the one that gives you the best price. Simple.